All right, everybody, listen up. We're going on a date tonight with Gretchen Menn in support of her new record release, Hail Souls. We need the right one of you to take her out and interview her. You're a little too snappy. You two are too horny. Show off. Too loud. Not bad. Let's see your mug. Alright, let's get you ready. Alright, stay in tune, keep your neck up straight, and don't try bending. We don't want another incident. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, presenting Gretchen Menn. Welcome to GuitarTV. My name is Andy Alt, and I'm here with Gretchen Menn, and we are very excited to be discussing her new record release, Hail Souls, and we're actually here at Steve Vai's house in his living room, so we're just overall very excited to be here. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And you just saw a small little preview of one of the music videos we'll be playing later. So I just want to maybe talk with Gretchen a little bit and have her tell us a little bit about her background so we can all get a feel for where she's coming from, because I think you guys are really going to love this album. I do, and it blew me away. So maybe in a nutshell, maybe you can tell us a little bit about how you got into playing guitar.
I got into playing guitar. It was actually kind of one of those eureka moments. And it was, I'd gotten into guitar-oriented music in high school, like a lot of people did. And I heard, like, the song came on the radio, and it was so transcendentally beautiful. And I remember I was driving with my dad, and he was like, that sounds like Eric Johnson, but I can't imagine that radios would be hip enough to be playing one of his tunes, you know? And so we kind of let it go at that. And then a couple weeks later, we went and saw Joe Satriani play a show. And Eric Johnson was opening for him. And sure enough, he plays a song with Cliffs of Dover. And it was one of those moments that I was like, I was just so overwhelmed with how beautiful it was. And just, I thought either the person writing this must be the happiest person in the world, or he must be the happiest person in the world because he can play like that. So either way, I kind of thought I needed to pick up the guitar.
That's amazing. Wow, that's really cool. And your father was an editor at Guitar Player, right?
Yeah.
So who did you kind of come in contact with growing up?
Like on staff or musicians?
Both. Yeah.
Well, a lot of my dad's friends were people like Tom Wheeler, who was editor-in-chief for a number of years. Jazz Obrecht, who did, I think Jazz Obrecht did the first major article on Eddie Van Halen.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. Tom Mulhern, a lot of people who I should be mentioning right now. But those are the people where, I'd go run around my dad's office, and those are the people I'd go in and say hi to.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you're always kind of surrounded by guitars and the culture? And
yeah, I'd actually categorize my dad's work as like a magazine job, because when you're a kid you reduce everything to like a single word, like fireman, librarian, something like that. And my dad was magazine something or other. Right. And it wasn't until I got into music that he kind of said, well, do you know that I know something about this? And at first you're kind of like, whatever, what do you know? Yeah. And I'm like, well, would you care to hear this like Dixie Dregs record or this Johnny Winter record? And suddenly you're like, Dad, you're pretty hip.
That's really awesome. Yeah, I think a lot of people, they discover those things in different ways that are especially in the guitar community. And it's amazing that you have a really close connection with your dad being involved.
That's really cool. That's very cool.
So you were around that stuff when you were really young, growing up. You were around some really great inspirational music.
Mm-hmm.
And when did you pick up a guitar?
My dad had like a very hilarious, by today's standards, looking ESP. It was like this pink, purple, metallic burst with gold hardware kind of style guitar that I think I picked up a couple of times, but it was really my first year of college that I started on classical guitar, not because I didn't want to play electric guitar, but because I was going to a really classically focused school. And I had heard that the classical teacher had a reputation for being just stellar. And I remember somebody telling me that he was the most amazing teacher, and all of his students came out having perfect technique. And I was like, okay, sign me up for perfect technique. I'll do that, please. And sure enough, I'd always loved classical music anyway, and I thought, well, I might as well be getting credit for doing something that's only going to, one, be a love in and of itself, and also what harm is there in learning like good finger position? You know, the left hand really isn't very much different from anything you do on electric guitar.
So you're classically trained.
I feel like that's maybe overstating like how much I've had, but I mean, I studied classical guitar with a really fantastic teacher while I was in college, I should say.
It's amazing. Very cool. And so what kind of transpired the more rock kind of persuasion?
The rock was always there.
Yeah.
It was always there. I mean, in high school, it's like I was listening to Led Zeppelin and the Dixie Dregs and Eric Johnson and Frank Zappa and, you know, Faith No More, you know, stuff that was kind of going on there, you know, a blend of everything. So the rock was always there. And actually, the way that I had a few lessons, I guess, on electric guitar, but mostly the way that I kind of learned to play was I took the classical technique that I learned, and then I got a degree, my degree's in music as well.
Okay.
And so I applied what I knew about music theory to playing the electric guitar, and then had a few key pointers here and there from people who knew more than I did. So
very cool. So maybe all right. So what kind of bands were you playing with? And because I'm eventually going to segue into your first music video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Bands I played with, my first band ever was a band that played jazz standards, and I was like the old person in the band because I was like 21.
Wow.
And we couldn't play a lot of gigs because I was the only one old enough to actually play in a bar. Everybody else was like 16, 17. And then I got into, like, my first real rock band was I did some Angus Young duck walking and stuff like that, and an AC/DC tribute band called AC/DC for about 2 years.
Very cool.
Then played in various other things too. But really Zepparella, the Led Zeppelin tribute band I play in, was probably maybe my third or fourth band that I played in, rock band.
It's amazing.
So.
Well, just to let viewers know, at GuitarTV, you know, it's really great to explore and see video submissions coming through. There's so many talented videos that we see every day. And someone sent me your video, and I was really amazed. And it was for a few reasons. It was just so well produced, but the playing was so interesting because it's like very linear and very articulate, and there's some just really interesting stuff going on here. So I don't know, maybe we can play the video that I saw that made me so excited.
Yeah.
And Rob is doing all the behind the scenes stuff today. So if you have a second, we're gonna play Valentino's Victory Lap by Gretchen Menn. That was awesome. That was really awesome. I love that video. Hope you guys did too. And tell us about it. What inspired that, and how did it all come about?
The video came about. I was actually working on the album in the studio, and it occurred to me that it might be just like a good thing for people to have some sort of visual reference. Like if they don't know who you are, you're just kind of starting to get established as a solo artist. And so I'd sort of envisioned just like, a camera on me playing the song. And I talked to the engineer at the studio where I was recording the album, which is Get Real Productions in San Francisco. His wife does some video, works in video. And he said, Mahoko knows a guy who kind of does stuff. And anyway, it's this guy named Eric Shamlin. And we connected, and he wanted to do it sort of as just a fun project. And initially I saw all of the things he was doing, and I thought there'd be no way he'd be interested in doing my music video. But he was, and we started talking about concepts, and then he asked me what I wanted in terms of a concept. And I just gave him a few stipulations. One is that I wasn't like going to be naked or semi-naked or anything like that. I didn't want to come off all skanky. And two, that I needed to be playing guitar. And beyond that, just anything within the realm of reason was fine by me, because that was going to be his creative component. So he came back to me with this idea. It's called Valentino's Victory Lap. The motorcycle in it is a nod to Valentino Rossi, who was sort of the namesake behind it. And the reason just being that I'm actually not a very well-versed MotoGP fan or anything like that, but there's certain people, whether it's Eddie Van Halen or Valentino Rossi, who you can just tell that they love doing what they do so much, and there's this joy and this almost childlike exuberance that comes through in watching them do what they do, whether it's playing guitar or riding motorcycles. So it just so happened that Valentino was the one who was in my mind when I wrote the tune. So the motorcycle in it was a tribute to him. Obviously not the bike he rides, but more of a vintage one. And then Eric's concept was about sort of the transformation of the artist, and the transformation through this bloody disgusting process, which actually I got a huge kick out of. Like right when you think it's gonna get all naked, it's just bloody screws. And then ultimately one of the visuals that he had on the sheet that he made for me was of the Winged Victory. I don't know if you're familiar. It's as you go into the museum in Paris, the Louvre, there's this beautiful statue right at the top in the entryway, and it's of this this winged angel there's no head, I think not intentionally, but just over time. And it's always been one of my favorite statues. And so when he included that and tied it in with the Victory Lap and all of that, I was like, oh yeah,
it's amazing.
And then when I got into the studio where we shot it, which is Purebred Productions, and I saw these incredible wings that this woman, Stacey Ransom, had built, it was amazing, because those things were like 18 feet. I don't know if you can really get a sense of how huge they were, but they're amazing. They're painted with like airplane paint.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So high production value, very interesting song, interesting technique from a classically trained, we won't say classically trained, we'll say someone who has studied the inner workings of composition and technique. And the second I saw that, I thought, oh, this is really a special piece, because taking the time to really create a video around a song that has such meaning to you, it sounds really nice.
Oh,
And
thank you. A lot of people worked very hard on that. I just played the music.
We're very grateful for them too. And okay, so that you had put that out, I think, online a few months ago. But during that time to now, you've been working on the solo record, which has just been released. And in fact, if you're watching this right now, you can click on the scrolling banner that is going across the screen, and click on it and grab the album from iTunes. I believe it's is it $9.90?
I think so, and I think it's also on Amazon for people who prefer that too.
Yeah, so
and the physical CD will be on my website and various other places in just probably a couple weeks at the most.
Very cool. So you've been working on this record throughout that time. Tell us a little about like the concept. Why do a solo record in the first place?
Yeah.
What inspired you to do it, and all of it.
I think there were a lot of things that kind of came together, but the bottom line was that I had all this music written. I always write, and the way that I think I internalize a new technique or a new concept is I write with it. So somebody shows me an Eddie Van Halen tapping lick, and I feel like I get it more. The first thing I want to do is I want to try it out and I want to write with it. And so that's how I just end up writing a lot. And I started, I guess, just working with, various people who were really inspiring, and thought, well, I guess I could just do this. It was just something that hadn't occurred to me. I guess it's really easy to feel like you're never worthy yet. You get it in your mind, like, I want to be a better guitar player. I want to be, I want to be all these things that, that are your ultimate goals. But that it takes kind of a leap of faith to realize, well, I can just do this now,
absolutely.
and just deciding to do it now, and deciding to do it in the way that I wanted to do it. So.
Well, I've heard the whole thing from start to finish, and I think it's amazing.
Oh,
And,
thank you.
yeah, I think Rob was saying there might be an interesting question that's come through, and we have a laptop here if you guys want to ask questions. Let's see. Oh, some people are saying some really nice stuff. It's really good. Cool. Well, at any given time, I don't know what you're saying, Rob. Okay. So, yeah, well, if you guys have questions as you're watching this, feel free to chime in. We have one of these awesome devices to take your questions. So if you want to ask Gretchen a question as I'm going, feel free to interrupt me and ask anything you want, and I'll ask on your behalf. So you had decided that you were going to record a solo record. It came from a deep place. And yeah, is there any overall concept, like an arch to the album? Like, okay, like this is an album that I'm putting out on my own, and I want people to walk away feeling this about it, or?
I think I just wanted to kind of put down in one spot, who I am right now. I mean, I don't mean for that to sound pretentious, but I mean, when you play in a tribute band, or when your musical taste is varied, it's very easy to have somebody come to see you and say, my acoustic duo with Jude, Lap Dance Armageddon, or in Zepparella, which is an all-female Led Zeppelin tribute band, and if somebody sees me in one band to then come see me in another band and go, oh my God, I had no idea that you did that too. And I thought, well, I have all the stuff that I've written as well. Maybe I should just put it all in one place, and that way there's never the question of like, well, what else do you do? It's like, okay, that's what I do.
Oh, that's really great. So yeah, as you just mentioned, it's a record of where you are at this point in time, and
yeah,
that's really great.
Yeah.
Just because I love hearing about this stuff so much, and maybe other people would be interested in as well. Like from start to finish, approximately how long was the process, and
That's actually a really easy question.
Okay.
Only because of the things worked out in a certain way. It was 1 year to the day.
Wow.
It was July 7th, 2010 to July 7th, 2011. That doesn't count pre-production. Basically, it was the time that I booked my first studio session to the time that I was done in the studio. Wow. So that doesn't count mastering, which was another few days, and it doesn't count pre-production, because once you count pre-production, you might as well count composition. Once you count composition, you might as well count training. So it was 1 year to the date. And so that was what was manageable for me to do, and that worked with everybody else's schedules. So.
I think that's really inspiring and amazing, especially like, because I think some people sometimes they hear like these really great records and they're like, did it take 10 years? Did it, I don't know, like people have these questions. I know I personally am always curious.
Well, and it's also easy to get it in your mind, too. You hear about so many classic records of, like, bands that shut themselves in the studio for, 30 days and came up with one of the most classic records, or Led Zeppelin with, some of, what was it, Zeppelin 4 that they did at Haley Grange and stuff. Anyway, just bands that have the luxury of being able to lock themselves in a studio, that don't even have material written, and then just come out with something amazing because they're living there. I don't have a world-class studio at my disposal for free, so I had to do it carefully and with a little bit of preparation on my end, and I think I tried to keep it at a good clip. I was in there a lot, but I also tried to keep it manageable because all the while, like, I'm playing in different bands. I'm, going on tour and stuff like that. So. Yeah.
That's right. You're always on. You're between several things, but you manage to make a record while you're juggling it all.
I tried.
That's really amazing. Well, I'd love to play another music video that I saw.
Okay.
Play this really great music video called Oleo Strut, and tell us who's being featured in the video. And
okay, well, the two guys featured in the video are actually also the two who played on Valentino's Victory Lap. That's John Mader playing drums, and that's Stu Ham playing bass. And the reason, well, it's the same director, Eric, who did Valentino's Victory Lap, and we wanted to do something totally different. Valentino's Victory Lap was like very conceptual and very, this huge production. We wanted to do something just really grounded, and something also that was maybe very recognizable as me. The kind of thing that, like, when my mom sees it, she's like, "Oh, of course, that's you. Like, that's a Gretchen I know." And there's a section in it. I really wanted to do this song because I think it was a fun song, and it's such a great moment for the guys in it too. And when we started talking about doing this, I just said, the one thing in this one, we have to get Stu and John to play in it. There's like, I'm trading licks with the bass. Like, right. what are we going to do when the bass licks come in, cut to like a tree, So fortunately, John and Stu were both up for it, and they killed it. They're such great musicians and also super great performers too. So it was really fun. Yeah.
Cool. Well, you're about to see Oleo Strut on GuitarTV with Gretchen Menn. Okay, we're back with Gretchen Menn, and you just watched Olio Strut, and yeah, what a fun video. Everybody's just going off. A lot of really cool questions coming in now. People are asking about, well, they want to know about the guitar. You know, maybe you could tell us a little about the Music Man.
Yeah. I had, I have 3 Music Man silhouettes, 2 silhouette specials and 1 silhouette. Actually, the guitar you saw in Valentino's Victory Lap is the first guitar I ever had. It was actually given to me when I first started playing by Sterling and Ernie Ball, and they've been my favorite guitars ever since. In a way, it's interesting how you always assume that what feels like home is going to have a natural familiarity, but I just love those guitars so much. They play so well. The fit and finish on them is fantastic. I love that there's not a lot of kind of like aesthetically, not a lot of bells and whistles and stuff. I just like that they look great. They're solid, fantastic instruments. And, you know, I do have some other guitars that I play in various projects, but as you can see, when it comes to my personal preference, that's my silhouettes.
Very cool.
And the newest one, actually, my newest guitar is the one that was in the Olio Strut video, and that was one that actually that I recently got from them after the Valentino Victory Lap.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that company, they picked a design and stayed with it in that respect, and I think that's very interesting for a manufacturer to, you know, really, you know, build upon the technology of it, but stick with the basic shape and the size and the...
Yeah, they're fully committed.
Yeah,
but
totally.
It's great. I love it. If you've ever played one, you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, that's cool. Well, tell us about what kind of pickups are in that guitar. I'm just curious.
I have different ones in different guitars. The white one that you saw, those are just stock Dimarzio single coils.
Okay.
The other 2 that I have are the stock single coils in the bridge in the middle. I'm sorry, the neck in the middle position, and then a fast track 2.
Oh, cool.
In the bridge position. They're all Dimarzios.
Well, speaking of those, we do have some very cool things to give away to you guys, like a boatload of stuff from Dimarzio. Got some stuff from Maxon, and we've got Engel lamps to give away, all of the brands that you work with, in various different touring and recording situations. So really excited. So keep watching, because your name could be called. In fact, there's a high likelihood of you winning some really cool stuff today. Yeah, so I mean, tell us about like kind of a live setup. Like, let's say, you know, let's say we cut your act. Let's say we cut Zepparella. What would you be playing? And
yeah, Zepparella is a different deal. For me, anytime I've been in a tribute band, the band that you're paying tribute to kind of dictates the gear you're going to play, right? So, so I have a Les Paul and a Dan Electro that I have. I'm going through a 1976, end of 1976, early 1977 Marshall JMP. And then from there I have a vintage Crybaby wah-wah pedal. I think that's actually older than I am. It was my dad's. And then I have a vintage Phase 90, an Exotic Effects AC booster, and then a Line 6 delay, the DL4, and a tuner. So that's like a Zepparella setup.
Very cool.
But then other bands, it completely depends.
It just changes. Yeah. That's very cool.
Yeah.
And well, maybe we can give away something. Maybe we can give away something from Dimarzio. So you use the vintage, or I'm sorry, the PAF
the 36th anniversary PAFs.
Yeah.
Those are my Les Pauls. Yep.
Yeah. And what's cool about them? What's like the coolest thing about them?
They just have they have just a good thick warm tone, and great sustain.
Yeah.
They just the way that they feel when they play feels fantastic, and a good combination of good flexibility. When you roll down the volume, they clean up nicely too.
That's very cool. Well, let's give a set of those away, shall we? All right, that'd be cool. I'm looking at the comments here, and you guys, whoever gets their name called has to have also RSVP'd for the event in the first place. But let's see. Maybe I'll just scroll the wheel and we'll just randomly pick someone. Ready?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, you pick. I don't. I don't me.
All right. Well, I think Kevin Runyon just won himself a set of 36th anniversary Dimarzio PAFs. Kevin, if you're watching, stick around after the broadcast so we can get your shipping info. But I hope you enjoyed these pickups. I think they're going to be pretty awesome. I know I would love to win them. So if you're watching, chime in. We'll figure all that out. All right, cool. So, we also glossed over something that I think is really, really interesting about you, that maybe before this record came out, in addition, before the record, sometime after you were born and before the record came out, you flew jets.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us about that, because that's so unusual and so interesting.
It's actually funny. Like, there are a lot of guitar players who fly planes.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
There are a lot of them. I think B.B. King does, right? I thought I heard Mark Knopfler does.
Really?
I could be wrong.
That's really
I'm sure somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. Dick Dale, I know, definitely does.
Wow.
Everybody knows Steve Morse does. Also, Bruce Dickinson. Well, I mean, not a guitar player, but right. I think he actually flies for the airlines, or
Really?
he used to fly for the airlines. He flies their jet around, right? So I think it's more common than maybe some people realize. But yeah, it was my responsible plan B, because I didn't want to ever have to make creative decisions from a financial place.
I see.
So when I graduated with a music degree, it sort of came up with, well, what am I going to do with this music degree? Because the reason I had even gotten it was just because I wanted to learn more about music, not because I was really thinking about a career path. So when I graduated with this degree in music, I actually graduated a year early. And so I kind of thought, well, what do I do now with this degree in music? Do I go back and I teach classical guitar? It seems kind of silly. I've been playing for 3 years. Maybe I could get a little bit more time, more practice under my belt before I go and try to tell somebody else what to do. And they had at the local airport this special for discounts for students, and it was like $99 for 3 lessons or something like that. So I took 3 lessons because I've always loved roller coasters, and I'm actually one of those people who likes turbulence in planes, because I'm like,
Okay.
I'm in the air. And so I took a couple lessons, I had so much fun, and then promptly realized it was way too expensive to do as a hobby. So I stopped until I graduated, and then it kind of occurred to me, okay, what do I want to do? Like, if I don't want to have music be the thing that pays the rent, unless it just happens to, which would be great, but I don't want to expect that from it. How am I going to make my money? And that's when I kind of thought, well, wait a minute. I know how much my flight instructor makes because I'm paying him, and I know that he tells me when we're going to go flying, not vice versa. So that means I get to make my own schedule. It means I get to make what seemed like a lot of money for somebody just getting out of college. And also I wanted something that wasn't going to just drain me of my drive to play guitar. I know that if I wanted to go and work in a bar or wait tables, or, name the mind-numbing task that makes you not want to get up in the morning, so I wanted to do something that was going to challenge me, and I thought, well, it's kind of like a different part of my brain and stuff like that. So I went to flight school, and I got all my licenses in a year, and then I instructed for a year to get hours. And I just so happened to get into flying at a time where the airlines were really hiring a lot, and I actually didn't even think I was going to go to the airlines, because that wasn't really my dream. I was mostly just flying to support the music. But I thought, well, I think Mitch Hedberg, the comedian, has this thing about, sometimes he puts in a baked potato even when he doesn't want one, because by the time it's ready, who knows? It was sort of like that with my resume and the airlines, as I thought, well, I'll just send out my resume, and by the time I hear back from them, who knows? Maybe I'll be 50 and want nothing more than to go to the airlines. But it happened that I actually heard back from them, unlike what some of my coworkers had heard. I had heard back from them in a few days as opposed to a few months, and they called me in for an interview the following week. Yeah. And so I went in for this interview, and they hired me on the spot to fly a jet, which was actually it was a really good gig to have. And so, and they were brand new jets. They're Embraer 145 and 135s, which were these kind of like 35 and 50 passenger regional jets, which were brand new and all glass cockpit, and definitely a nice airplane. So I thought, well, okay, I'll go learn how to fly a jet. So I did that for about a year. I had my guitar with me the whole time, and just I practiced a lot on layovers and in hotel rooms and stuff. And after a while, it was just clear that I wasn't really going to be able to do music the way I wanted to if I was also flying. And plus, I realized that by sitting in the seat of this incredible airplane, I was occupying somebody's dream. Somebody would have loved to have been there, and I was sitting there like dreaming of playing guitar. So, of course, I needed to leave. Hopefully whoever got that seat is liking it now.
That's very conscientious of you. I think that's fascinating. Oh my God, I had no idea it was so interesting like that. Your quote about Mitch Hedberg reminded me about something else he said. I love him as a comedian.
I love him too.
I think he's very missed because of his little, insightful kind of stonery comments or whatever.
Yeah, so succinct.
Yeah, very. He said something interesting about him being a writer, a comedian, and they said, "Oh, so you're a comedian. Do you write scripts? Can you write scripts? Can you write shows?" And he said, he's like, and that's like going back to the chef and being like, "You cook really well. Do you farm too?" And just hearing that story, it's like sometimes the distinction between your craft and like somebody else's perception of your craft gets blurred. As a guitar player, you could be generalized or stereotyped as this, that, and the other. Because maybe someone, I don't know, but maybe someone comes to see you play in a certain environment with like maybe a tribute act, but they have no idea that you're capable and fully, committed to your solo project as well. So with your new record being out, how do you think that will, maybe interact with some of your other music performances and acts, and how do you hope to tie them all in together? Or?
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting because I have opened for myself before. Like I've had, I think, Lap Dance Armageddon, as well as a band I played in for a while called Sticks and Stones, have opened for Zapparella before, which definitely is a good, Alzheimer's prevention for me. But that's a lot of notes and solos to try to keep straight in one night. It's interesting. I feel like it isn't always a no-brainer, because I think a lot of times people who come to see tribute bands, they're more attached to the music than they are the people playing the music. Hence, they are seeing a tribute band. So it's like they want to hear Led Zeppelin. So it's not necessarily. I mean, and there's certainly exceptions, but there aren't necessarily the same people who see both. Like one of the best shows that one of my original bands had, Lap Dance Armageddon, was opening for Steve Morse. We had. It was absolutely terrifying, but at the same time, I think it was just a good match. We sold a ton of CDs, and it seemed to go over really well, better than when I was opening for my own band. So go figure. I don't know how it all works, but I just
That's absolutely awesome. That's really amazing. Well, speaking of Lap Dance Armageddon, we do have a video to play if you'd like to.
Absolutely.
To show it. This is a band featuring yourself and Jude Gold, right?
Jude Gold,
okay.
Yes.
Who's the director of guitar studies at MI, a school that's been very kind to GuitarTV, as well as a distinguished performer, composer, and musician himself. So, you're about to see Lap Dance Armageddon. That was called Laptop Armageddon. That's not right.
That's the G-rated version.
Yeah. All right, we're back with Gretchen Menn, and you're watching GuitarTV in our live interview. And we just saw Lap Dance Armageddon, a duo with Gretchen featuring Jude Gold. And what was that?
What was that? That was Jude and me coming up with a concept the night before the video. No, actually, that was filmed by Steve Swirsky and Greg Conway with Massive Post.
Yeah, I know those guys.
Yeah. And they just basically grabbed a camera and shot a video for us. And Jude and I were having like lunch or dinner the day before, and it kind of came up, hey, what are we going to do for this video? And I think Jude said something like, oh, maybe we can, go to the beach or something like that. And then we kind of like mused on that for a while. I was like, oh God, I mean, that's like, what, should we also get a campfire and like sing Kumbaya while we're at it? It just seemed kind of like predictable. And we're like, well, okay, maybe we could do something kind of unpredictable. And then Jude brought up, okay, maybe we should just like demolish a guitar or smash it. And then we kind of thought about that more. I was like, well, between, Pete Townsend and Jimi Hendrix and Kurt Cobain, does that really need to happen again? And so we started trying to come up with what could we do that would be somewhat violent to a guitar but would be tongue-in-cheek enough to be kind of different. And then the torture scene from Reservoir Dogs popped into my head. And I started like kind of cracking up, and I was like, okay, just hang with me on this. And I sort of explained it, and we actually went and tried to watch it on YouTube. And I still, I watched it like this because I still can't quite deal with the whole thing. But I still like the concept. So we decided to torture a Strat, Reservoir Dog style. Actually, it wasn't a real Strat, right?
Yeah. So everything's safe and sound. It wasn't Fender Strat. Yeah. Well, we are very honored to have your bandmate here with us right now. Jude Gold is here. Shall we all squeeze in on this couch? It's like a drive-in movie theater. All right, Jude, thank you for joining us. Good to see you. All right.
I know you.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay, so tell us about this duo a little more. There isn't two electric guitar players primarily. You guys are known for your stunning electrical guitar work. Are now in a band tying up guitars and torturing them, playing acoustic guitars. And tell us a little bit about that.
It was really fun because Gretchen she plays in a lot of the venues around San Francisco, and Slim's, they love her there, and it's this great venue, and they're like, we need an acoustic band to open for Adrian Belew. So we kind of became an acoustic band by proxy, and when we actually got to the stage, we saw why, because he had so many pedals. It was like
we were actually seated like so far apart. I mean, it was like, what? Which song are we playing now? Huh?
Yeah, we were texting each other.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was really great, and that's kind of how we discovered this really interesting thing that is when there's like a really, like for a guitar kind of a show, and there's a loud electric band, like we also opened for Steve Morse and stuff, they actually really appreciate having an acoustic act open. We like to say it's kind of like the salad before the dinner or something. It really compliments, and people, their ears are still like not caved in for the headliner, and they really listen too. That's the other thing we discovered, right? Like when you play an acoustic show, like people really hear every note. There's no smoke and mirrors. There's no crazy delays.
There's really totally no pressure at all.
Yeah, there's no pressure opening for Adrian
Right.
And Steve Morse.
And Steve Morse, yeah. So talk about that. So you guys opened up with your band for Steve Morse. How did that feel?
Well, for me, and I'm sure I'm speaking for Gretchen too, just really what an honor to open for a personal hero. I mean, Steve Morse, as far as electric guitarist, his album, The Introduction, I played that thing so many times it was like floppy and you could see through the vinyl. Like, I'm dating myself, but I played that thing so many times. I loved it. And to open for him, was just crazy honor. About you?
Yeah, totally terrifying. And I mean, one of the things that I really wished that I had another couple decades to woodshed for.
Yeah, it's hard to ever be fully woodshedded for opening for Steve.
But in a way, like, on one hand, there was this tremendous pressure because you go up on stage, you're like, wow, not only is this stage going to just have like the most insane guitar player on it already, but I'm sitting next to an insane guitar player. Oh, and everybody in the entire audience is a really good guitar player too. But then there's a certain amount of pressure, which is like, well, anybody who really plays music, I think, tends to not be. They tend to be open because they understand. I mean, it's like the harshest critics don't tend to be the ones who are actually really playing music and doing music. I don't know any really serious guitar players who rip apart other people. And so you just go on and you do your best, and you hope that that people at least try to hear the intention behind the music.
Yeah, it was a great crowd that opened. I mean, that was watching both the shows. They were very supportive. I remember one time when I was much younger, I opened for Joe Satriani, and there was a bunch of dudes like this, behind the barricade.
Did? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, that was one of my first bands. But and it was really nice to connect with them that way. But I just really have fun playing with Gretchen because she always makes fun of me for this, but she'll play some like really crazy idea, and sometimes I have to learn it because they're really intense. I'm like, can't we you don't need to do something similar or simpler, like what, that sounds so crazy. And then after I hear it a few times, I fall in love with it. It's like my favorite part. She has a song on her new album called Fast Crowd that has the most amazing part that she put on there.
You play the other guitar part, yeah.
I used to play the part with you, but it was like a little bit too intense for me, actually. I'm not making this up. I don't have the picking chops to do it. She can pick it. I can't pick it. She's really great alternating picker too, so. But it's just turned into my favorite part of the song too, Fast Crowd. Listen for the weird part on Fast Crowd.
Yeah.
The evil lick, I think you called it. Or I think when I first played it for you, you're like, what is that evilness? But
exactly, it's beautifully evil.
No.
That's awesome. And just a reminder, if you're just tuning in now, the little banner scrolling across the bottom of the screen is a link to Gretchen's album, so you can hear the songs that we're talking about right now. Just click on it and buy several copies of it, just to have as backups in case your computer crashes or friends that also like really great music.
Yeah, it's true. If you play those MP3s too much, they will wear out, and you'll start to be able to see through them.
Right. Just can't even begin to describe how many MP3s we've all worn out over the years. So, so there's this great group going on, and you guys are playing together. What's next for everybody? What's the next move? I want to know.
For
everything?
everything?
Yeah, starting with that.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
No, please.
Oh, well, if you're going to the NAMM show, we're playing at All-Star Guitar Night. Muriel Anderson's fantastic thing. That's in January, but we're really psyched about that. We've also done some stuff where we play electrics together, too. I really think that's fun, like 2 electric guitars without the thundering bass and drums. It's kind of an interesting duo, so I'd like to do some of that kind of stuff, too.
Are you tying up any acoustic guitars and lighting it on fire?
It's fun, yeah.
Conversely speaking.
She was very generous with the description of that video that some of you might have seen, by the way. Really, I was like, well, let's just break a guitar, and she's like, that is the dumbest idea.
That's exactly what I said, right?
She came up with like a much more brilliant, I think, idea, which is we torture it like Reservoir Dogs, although I came up with a chalk outline of the Strat at the end.
That was awesome. Yeah.
It's really funny. You guys are great. I especially like, as GuitarTV is growing up, it's really fun to have conversations that, are tied into something, interesting going on. But you guys are really very interesting to speak with, and I'm sure that the audience may have a few questions. So I can take a few questions. Maybe we want to give something away in the meantime, because Lap Dance Armageddon is an acoustic duo, and you use the Dimarzio Angel system, the acoustic. Yeah. We have one of those to give away, and I don't know if you know anything about how cool these are, but they just sound amazing. And we're so thankful for Dimarzio as one of the most generous supporters of GuitarTV to feature this. So we're going to give away an Angel system to you right now. Let's see. And I'm not a giant. This is actually a really small computer, in case you couldn't tell, because, let's see. How do we pick winners? It's so funny. Well, I would like to scroll the wheel, like the trackpad, and wherever it stops.
Find a steel string player who will.
Right. Well, let's see. Why don't
Somebody asked about my Santa Cruz guitar.
Someone did ask about the Santa Cruz guitar.
Good question.
That is a good question. Do you want to talk about that for a second while we go through this?
Yeah, I recently started playing Santa Cruz guitars, and they built me a custom OM model that is absolutely, I'm totally in love with it. They did this amazing red burst on it, and were just super cool to work with. I mean, every tiny little specification I had, they did this custom carved neck so that it plays really well. And I think, I'm trying to think, there's some photos of it on my website and on, actually it's in the Oleostrat video. That's the red
cool.
guitar that I'm playing at the breakfast table.
Very
So,
cool.
yeah.
Well, the person who asked that question, his name is Mark Mannion, and if it's okay with you guys, I'd like to deem him the winner of the Angel
Let's do
acoustic
it.
system. So, Mark, you won that, and I guess the easiest way for us to connect is probably just add me as a friend on Facebook, and you can send me your address that way.
Andy Alt, at Andy Alt.
That'll work too.
We should be interviewing you.
No, not at all. Oh, good. Matt Picone's on here. Isn't that great?
Oh,
From,
yeah.
from Fractal Audio.
The veg guitars.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's how I know.
Yeah. That's something we could talk about too. Are you okay talking about your vegetarianism on camera?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Anything.
All right. So Gretchen is a vegetarian, and we have a secret group on Facebook called Vegetars. It's a bunch of vegetarian guitar players.
Yeah.
And it's a growing little group, and we've got some cool people, some really famous guitar players on there.
Yeah, there's some serious guitar players.
Yeah, so it's a very small group that loves vegetables and guitar. Just thought I'd mention it because it's kind of, it's one of those things that won't be on the map. Maybe when it gets 100 members, we can make it public.
Yeah,
if people are okay with it. Anyway,
Yeah.
but I saw Matt Picone and I wanted to mention that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, okay, cool. Well, so that went really well for Mark. He won that system.
Awesome.
I'm really excited to send it to him. We just have to connect. I can
There
use
we
the
go.
pickup. I will friend you on Facebook,
Good.
and that's cool. All right, that works well. So, people are
Vegetars.
saying vegetars now. Yeah,
Is that PC?
yeah, I think so. Someone asked, who was Gretchen's greatest inspiration?
I could never narrow it down to one. I mean, my first big inspiration was Eric Johnson. Very shortly thereafter, Steve Morse became a favorite. Frank Zappa has been an enduring inspiration, just not only as a guitar player, but as a composer and as just a creative force. And recently, Jeff Beck has completely blown me away. So I could name a lot of people,
Okay.
but I think if I have to limit it to the bare essentials, those would be the biggest in terms of guitar players.
It's a great list. And let's see. Well, we have more stuff to give away. We have like a lot of stuff to give away.
I know.
Let's see what we could give away. Well, Rob, maybe you want to pull up the Maxon FL9. Maybe tell us a little bit about this pedal, how you plan to use it. And
Yeah, this is a pedal that I got kind of more recently. It's a flanger, and I'm still having fun and tweaking it and everything. But it's got a lot you can control with it, and everything from a lot more subtle flange to like a really big one. It's actually I'm using it, or I will be using it. And the first track of the album, Scrap Metal, has a couple of spots where you hear the flanger. So.
very cool. Well, we would like to give away that pedal, which is
Whoever is going to get that will also be very happy.
damn so cool that Maxon gave us this to give away, and we're going to find someone to give this to. Oh, if we could only find someone to give this cool pedal to. So tough.
Guitar players don't generally like getting free pedals.
No, it's like a really
Yeah.
big pain to
Take up
open the
space
mailbox and
yeah.
find something really amazing inside. Well, we're going to give this away to the guy who asked the question, who is your greatest inspiration? His name is
Okay.
Munir Majid. Munir,
Okay.
congratulations. You're winning a really cool pedal, which we hope you enjoy. And please just add me as a friend or send me a message. Well, I don't want you to have to commit to adding me as a friend, but just send me a message if you don't want to.
You're a good friend to have.
Just
Give
send me
away
a
pedals
message.
to your friends.
Right.
Yeah.
There could be worse things. Yeah, Munir, for sure. Send me a message and we'll send you this pedal. We're really excited to give this away to you. Cool. And also, while we're at it, we have some cool stuff away to give from Engel Lamps. I stopped by their showroom this morning and it blew me away. They've got like, I don't know, 50 half stacks set up, just private. It's not like Guitar Center. It's not a bungled down situation. You can go in there. They have guitars there, and you can bring your own guitars in North Hollywood, and just be like a kid in the candy store. And that's exactly what I did. I played 3 amps. I was only supposed to be there for like 5 minutes. I was there for like an hour.
What did you play?
I played the Steve Morse signature amp, and I played the Powerball 2, and there's apparently a new one that's being worked on. I'm not sure if it was a prototype, but it was kind of more of a scoop metal sound. So I got to check that out, and I just was really in tone heaven. So we're going to give away some cool stuff from them. We've got posters and a T-shirt and a lanyard. So let's see. Well, why don't you talk a little bit about Engel for a second?
I know it's such a bummer we're not actually giving away an amp, but that's...
No, I think this is even better because then I'd have to take it to the post office, and I don't want to lift anything heavy.
Right,
it's so much better for me to...
That is a heavy thing. The Engel that I use is a special edition 670 with EL34s. So the amp does pretty much everything. It's effectively like a 4-channel amp that within each of those channels has like a million things you can control. But what I love about it from just an interface standpoint is that it's very well laid out. It's very intuitive to me. Even though there are a lot of things you can control, which could be overwhelming, they're very straightforward. You know. And then from sonically speaking, the clean channel is fantastic, and then the channel that I do like most of the leads and stuff on, which is the lead 1 channel with the classic voicing, it has this wonderful combination of great articulation, like it really tracks well for faster lines, but so it articulates like it's clean, but it sustains like with all of the good grit of a dirty sound.
Very cool.
So I love those amps.
That's awesome. Well, we're going to give away like a T-shirt, poster, cool thing package to Madraj Demadon. He says he could always use another amp. I have 2 now. We can't give him an amp, but we're going to give him some cool stuff to make it looks like he owns that amp. If he walks around with that T-shirt on, people will be like, they know. So Madraj, you win that. And Christopher L. Rich said, I would like a T-shirt. And that's all we need to hear here at Guitar TV. You say, I want this, and if we've got it, yours. If we could just get more, things like cars flying out of the sky, and someone says, I want a Ferrari. Yeah. And Jude gets out of the Ferrari, and it's yours. Okay, cool. So you guys just send me a message with your address, and we'll get it over to you. So, so we've got, yes, that is going to... Christopher Rich and Madraj Madon. Congratulations, guys. And let's see. How about we give away a Dimarzio Fast Track 2?
Those are great.
Yeah, tell us how badass that pickup is, because I have one and I love it.
I love that one. It's super badass. Yeah. Again, one that cleans up really well when you turn it down, and then when you crank it all the way up, it's just like great output. I mean, definitely makes a Strat style guitar not gives it that huge sound. I actually dropped one in there when I was playing. I did a short tour with a metal band, and I wanted to play my Music Man in it, so I went actually just to the local music store, a place called Gelb in Redwood City, and the guy there, my contact, said, take this, I swear by it, if you ever want to change it, I will swap it out, for free, and I dropped it in there and never took it out again. I love it, and in fact put another one in my other Silhouette.
You use that for most of the solo record, right?
A lot of it, yeah. Well, not everything. Some of them were with the single coils, but yeah, that was one of the main ones. Scrap metal was all with the single coils actually, just about, except for a couple spots. But yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Well, who here would like to win a Dimarzio Fast Track 2? And let's see. Yep, we've got some people who would enjoy winning that. Sam Geese asks, do they pair up well with PAFs? Well, Sam, you're about to find out because you're winning the Dimarzio Fast Track 2. And if you think it pairs up well, let us know. And just send me a message on Facebook, which is really easy. That's how they can get in touch. All right, cool. So, all right, cool. Congratulations, Sam. And what else are we feeling like giving away?
What
This
else do I
pillow.
have? Right, exactly.
It's really comfortable. Yeah, we have a. All right, this is so badass, and I feel like this is really interesting. I didn't know that we were gonna have the opportunity to give this away, and in in the guitar world, it's a predominantly male-dominated field. It's the way it is right now, but it's really great to, I don't know, there's just, a great guitar player is a great guitar player, and we just really love that. But, maybe you can share with us a little bit of what it's like to, walk into a gig or whatever like that, and I don't know what that feels like, in being, not a guy, a girl.
Well, I can't give you a good comparative because I was never once a dude, but I don't know. I would say that with anything, it's a mixed bag. On one hand, anytime like if you were taking a ballet class, you'd be more noticeable, right? If you were taking a yoga class, you'd probably stand out more, right? So anytime you're the minority in a group, you stand out a little bit more. So that can be a good thing. It can also be a bad thing. I think people tend to, on one hand, it can be good that people expect you to suck, because then it's like with low expectations, how much you can't disappoint, right? On the other hand, I think sometimes people scrutinize a little bit more, and sometimes are inclined. It's like when you're looking for the bad in something, you can often find it if you look through things with a particular filter. My goal has just always been that, music should transcend gender, like I don't sit there practicing my guitar being like, I'm a girl and I'm playing guitar and this is so interesting. I have 2 X chromosomes and I'm also playing guitar. This is so weird. Let me set my metronome here. Okay. Wow. Okay. I'm going to work on this now. And I'm also a girl. It doesn't enter your consciousness ever, really. I mean, it's like other people make you aware of it. So I don't know that I have like a great answer for it. All I know is that, I've played with female musicians. I've played with male musicians. You have guitar players like Jennifer Batten, where it's like, is anybody actually going to say that she's not an amazing guitar player? Like I would be very interested to have anybody say that. But then again, you have people, saying that, you can find anybody who says the most amazing people, suck. So nevertheless, you've definitely got, I think, women now who are showing that it isn't a factor of, what your genetic makeup is, in terms of playing guitar. You've got amazing women doing amazing things on the guitar, and other instruments as well.
Absolutely. Well, I asked that question because we have a really cool thing to give away. It's a guitar strap from Dimarzio, and it features like rhinestones and it's leather. It's really cool. I had no idea that we had the privilege of giving this away until very recently, like a few hours ago.
Oh, cool.
So if it strikes anyone's fancy here, I think Nancy Walowski, if you're interested, you could take home a rhinestone, really cool handcrafted guitar strap from Dimarzio. And let us know
shout out to the
if
girls.
You want that. Yeah, it's a little shout out. But I think it's a really cool thing. So, Nancy, you want?
Nancy, say yes. You want that strap. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Cool. Yeah. And someone said, Andy Alt, are you ignoring me? I want this strap. Yeah, I'm sorry, but we only have one.
Ryan.
I don't know. Hi, Ryan. Well, we've got one more T-shirt to give away. Who wants it? First person to say, I want that T-shirt, gets it. Let's see how long we'll have to wait for this. This could be like a ticking...
if you slap it, it might work up the computer.
Yeah, sometimes if you shake the laptop, it helps, like the Polaroid picture. Jim Meislin said me, so he gets the T-shirt.
Okay.
All right, so we've given away several pickups from Dimarzio, a stomp box, Engel lamps, T-shirts, posters, all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah.
You come with some really cool people behind you.
Oh, they are very, very good to me, and all incredible products. I I wouldn't use them if I didn't love them, and I'm just so lucky that they wanted to connect with me too.
Absolutely. Well, maybe we can open this up to some questions from you guys. You know, if anyone on the live Facebook chat, you know, on GuitarTV, and by the way, if you're watching this on GuitarTV, sorry, this is a little late to tell you this, but if you're watching this on GuitarTV, if you click in the top right, I hope this is the right, if you click in the top right of the screen, you'll see a little tab that says Facebook. Click that, and that opens up a live chat window, so you can interact with us and ask questions. So, you know, if you have any questions for Gretchen, ask them now, and I will ask them on your behalf. So, yeah, we've really enjoyed this. This is a lot of fun, you know.
Thanks so much for having me.
Of course. And also, while these questions are coming in, be sure to click on that little scrolling banner that's going on the bottom of the screen that says, you know, to get Gretchen's record. You can click here. So, yeah. All right. Kevin Runyon says, solo touring anytime soon?
Yes, it will be. I'm actually where the band is going to be starting rehearsal soon. So,
Very cool.
yeah, that will be. It'll be coming up, and any news about that will be on my Facebook page and on my website, which is GretchenMenn.com. So
Very
keep
cool.
it posted that way, or Twitter, whatever, all of those things.
And tweet, yeah. This is interesting. Someone said, "Where are you right now, New York or West Coast? We're
As
We-
a matter
we're-
of fact.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, can I say?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're in Steve Vai's house, actually. If that's not cool, I don't know what is. We're in Steve Vai's house down in Southern California.
That's right. And someone said, "Need an opening act." They're ready to go. See, they already want a T-shirt.
I'll probably be an opening act for a tour. Coming to Seattle.
Maybe to
Yes.
go to the merch table with their T-shirt already.
Right.
Christopher Rich says, "Does Steve Vai know about this?" Yeah, we have.
We're doing guerrilla
Just showed
style.
up today with the camera. We did definitely ask permission
Just hop the fence.
in the begging way. Yeah, thank you to Steve for allowing us to be here. Okay, so we're getting some requests about, you know, their city. People want you to come to Seattle, so make sure that's on the
Yes,
list.
Seattle will
right?
be on the list, Mary.
Hey, Jude, just letting you know I'm watching from Troy.
Troy, what's up?
Yeah, shout out. Nancy Walowski, who won the Rhinestone Guitar Strap, says, favorite female artists?
I mentioned Jennifer Batten. She's one of the early inspirations. She's fantastic. Again, that's something we could talk a lot about, but I'll keep it short. I love Jennifer Batten. I actually just saw her play recently in Redwood City. It was absolutely fantastic. She was amazing.
Awesome. Yeah, you know, we'd seen her at LI a few days before, where Jude hosted a clinic for the students, and GuitarTV did a live broadcast of it. It was just
Great,
awesome.
yeah. One of the first broadcasts, I think.
Absolutely. Thank you for including us when we do these things.
Of course, thanks
It's
for
really, he's responsible for so many cool concerts that GuitarTV broadcasts. So, just awesome that everybody knows everybody. And there's a purpose. That's Steve's dogs in the background. They're really sweet, but they bark sometimes. Someone did let the dog out. Cool. I love reading people's comments. I think this is one of the coolest things about, you know, having GuitarTV. It's like, you guys ask us a question. It can almost be anything, and as long as it's not completely, you know, out of this world, we'll ask it. And you could ask it, might as well. Maybe someday we'll do like an audio thing where you guys can punch in and ask it yourself, so you don't have to hear my voice. Cool, but yeah. Any closing remarks besides the fact that you have this amazing new album? You have a very cool duo between you and Jude. You were once a pilot, and you studied classical music and technique. And you have amazing brands and sponsors that have got your back and have generously donated these very cool items to give away to our crowd at GuitarTV. And yeah, We're excited.
Thank you so much for having me, and everybody has been so great. I mean, the companies that have supported me, everybody from GHS and Engel and Santa Cruz Guitars and Dimarzio and Music Man. I'm just so honored that they've done so much for me, and so excited that you wanted to do this. So I really appreciate it, and thank you so much for having me. And thanks everybody for your cool questions and wonderful comments.
Yeah. Oh, this is cool. Jason Macedo and Johnny Highland say hi. They're watching right now.
Hey, Jason and Johnny. Yeah, they just did a feature on me.
Very
They're
cool.
great. Thank you guys.
Cool. Very cool.
The Sound Guitar Magazine. They are new and definitely doing some very cool stuff.
Yeah.
One of the most extensive interviews written. Yeah, that I did.
Awesome. Well, where can we see that? And
it's the soundguitarmagazine.com,
okay,
volume 9, and it's with Jason Becker.
Oh,
so
very
on the
cool.
cover, yeah.
Right. And that was you played at the Jason Becker tribute.
Yes.
In San Francisco.
Yeah, that was a really great night in guitar history. I was really moved by. I think you were there.
I was there. Yeah.
We saw just the most beautiful outpouring of love for a great guitar player. So
that's so cool.
Yeah.
And just a fantastic evening.
It's amazing. Rob, you have to zoom in on my face. Rob, zoom in on my face. Let me tell you something. I have to be honest with you. I feel so incredibly privileged to be sitting between these two people in Steve Vai's house on Guitar TV, talking to people who just have these interplanetary connections. We mentioned Jason Becker. He's played at that festival. We mentioned whatever Gretchen's done it. I mean, I feel so fortunate. And if I can be any more grateful, I will. But I just want to let you know that I feel so lucky. And anytime there's something cool with Guitar TV, I'm so happy to represent us and whatever. Thank you. Feel very fortunate. And someone just wished you a happy birthday because today's Jude's birthday.
Oh, thanks. Troy, thank you,
Birthday.
sir.
Yeah.
Forgot about that already.
Someone said, this is cooler than ice cream. And Jim said, are you in the Harmony Hut? No, but about 50 or 60 meters that way is the Harmony Hut.
We're in the broom closet here. It's pretty expansive. This space.
Yeah, so amazing. And, well, okay, one, maybe two more questions. One person says, does she have pets?
I
You have a
do.
pet? Tell us
I
about a
do.
pet.
I have 2 rescue kitties named Frances and Ferdinand, who I adopted from a good friend of mine. And they are the coolest, sweetest kitties, and they actually completely love guitar. Anybody who might be one of my Facebook friends or hit me up, you'll see I've posted actually a couple of videos of the kinds of distractions that I have to endure when I'm actually just trying to get maybe better speed or accuracy on a lick with a metronome. And I have my adorable cat Ferdinand who comes up and is just rubbing his face on the neck of my guitar. There's no volume at which, I don't turn up crazy loud, but I'll get bothered before they do. They're the sweetest kitties, and again, rescue kitties. So if anybody's considering get a rescue kitty,
That's awesome.
they're wonderful.
Is this a legitimate question?
Oh yeah, that's my dad.
Okay, yeah.
Hey, Dad.
Gretchen's dad says hello. He said, hi, Gretchen, your father here. So cool. So cool
Yeah.
he's watching.
Well, and you can tell because of the proper use of a semicolon.
Oh, right, because
Yeah.
all the editorial work
exactly.
at the magazine, she neglected to say it was Guitar Player magazine when she was growing
Yeah,
up,
Guitar
right?
Player magazine. Yeah.
Well, no,
Actually,
you said it later.
I
but-
did, and Jude
yeah.
actually is it works with Guitar Player magazine now.
That's right.
Guitar Player Magazine, yes.
It's
Wonderful,
amazing.
wonderful place.
God, I feel so lucky to be sitting here.
Likewise.
You guys.
Likewise,
We mentioned Guitar Player, we mentioned whatever. It's all right here. And I'm stuck
Andy's very
between them.
humble, but he plays stadiums. Check out his page, andyalt.com, right? And also,
That is my
we got to
website.
give you some props. You put this whole thing together, and I think it's such a great addition to the guitar community. And it's just, it kind of brings down the whole YouTube chaos of the giant World Wide Web and focuses it into this little intimate guitar party. And you have personal events and invites and people chatting, and that great video that you made at the front with the guitars. We'll put that up again. So it's really cool what you're doing.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. And of course, thanks Steve, Guitar TV's CEO and founder, and our entire Guitar TV team. Rob behind the camera, who has been multitasking between getting all the audio levels right and everything set up perfectly. So thank you, Rob, and thank you to our whole team. Amanda and Till and everybody who contributes. So
Thank you so much.
thank you. So on that note, boy oh boy, we are just so grateful for everyone chiming in. If you want something tonight, if you want an item from Dimarzio, Maxon, or Engel amps, send me a message. I'll send me a message if you want. Okay, cool. That way we can make sure that we ship you the items that you want, and hopefully you aren't in a country 50 million miles away. I'm just kidding. We'll still send it to you and bill you for it. Okay, I think, unless there's any more concluding remarks that you'd like to add, I implore you to check out this record that Gretchen has worked so hard on, and I'm so grateful that we were able to coordinate the release of the record with this broadcast at the same time. So if you're able to, wow, there's some lights coming on in this room that I didn't know were in the
Even
lights.
here.
So it's kind of perfect. We can kind of gather around this campfire, this bright light here, and yeah. Any closing remarks?
Thank you so much for having me.
How about you?
I'm just here for the ride. Thank you. Congratulations to Gretchen on finally releasing the first solo album.
First solo album.
Thank you so much.
And,
Now you can
Thank
start
you,
on the next
everybody.
one.
Right.
Yeah, one more. Keep it going.
Yeah.
And as you're watching this, make sure to click on the iTunes link trailing across the bottom of the screen, because it's gonna be a well worth your listen. It's exciting. And also, one last thing: when this broadcast is over, it'll be available in our video on demand section, which is down. If this is the right way, we're pointing to the right area. If you scroll down on your screen, you'll see some videos lined up. That's where we put all of our original broadcasts. So, in a couple hours, you'll be able to come back here and watch again. So thanks, guys, for watching. And on behalf of GuitarTV, thank you.
Thank you.